Welcome to Here's My Thing, starring Frankie Salazar. I'm your host, Frankie Salazar. It's probably what I should have said, but anyhow, we're going to leave that in anyway because we like bloopers around here. Anyhow, without further ado, let's get into the topic at hand today. And today's topic is going to be none other than the 97th Academy Awards. Now, for those of you who don't know what the 97th Academy Awards is, that's just a fancy way of saying the Oscars. Now, this Oscars was so special to me because it was hosted by none other than the very highly talented, humble, and charismatic Conan O'Brien. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't know who Conan O'Brien is, oh my God, I'm literally going to have to do a whole episode on him because he's literally the one man who inspired me to do this show. Okay? Now listen, Conan O'Brien did a fabulous job hosting the 97th Oscars because he has such a delivery when it comes to his comedy because him and I, kind of have the same flavor. Like even before I started watching him, something that I've always found so fascinating and so funny and so just, personable is self-deprecating humor. And that is something that he uses a lot, even when he's giving out these ill zingers and, just coming at these celebrities and their throats. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get right into the story. Conan O'Brien, this being his very first and only time hosting the Oscars, hopefully they're going to invite him again. I mean, if they had people like Jimmy Kimmel, Ricky Gervais, and all these other crazy psychos who arguably are not nearly as talented or funny as Mr. O'Brien himself do it, I do not see any reason why he wouldn't come back. And see, the thing about Conan, like I said, for those of you who don't know him, his television series, starting all the way back in I want to say the late 80s, early 90s, when he was hosting The Late Show, has always been about funny skits. He just wanted to make people laugh. He always made sure that the cast members were involved. He always made sure the audience was involved. He always made sure everyone was engaged. And he was so big on, like I said, skits. Like Conan O'Brien puts on a show. He's not just a comedian, he's an entertainer. So when you watch his show, you know that you're getting a top, high quality piece of just art. It's not a skit. It's literally a cinematic, comedic masterpiece 99% of the time. And that's how he hosted. His opening monologue was over 20 minutes long. Now, the bit opens, his introduction to the show was quite scary. It's him literally crawling out of Demi Moore's body, like something out of The Substance, the film that Demi Moore was literally snubbed on, which we'll cover in a couple minutes, but he's literally crawling out of Demi Moore's body, crawls back into it because he forgot his keys or something like that, like his shoes are literally kicking out of her body and crazy stuff like that. And it is just so creepy and eerie and scary, and when he finally makes it onto the stage, he apologizes to Demi Moore, and it is just hilarious. And like I said, with his self-deprecating humor, he goes, "Oh, please, everybody, take a seat, please. Oh, wait, you were never standing to begin with." You know what I mean? So it's just something that is so hilarious. And then he gets into the major films that were nominated, such as The Brutalist, starring Adrian Brody, A Complete Unknown, starring Timothée Chalamet, Anora, Wicked, all these talented, very beautifully crafted cinematic masterpieces of 2024 coming to life. And he was literally just on fire making his jokes and, like I said, shooting those zingers at all these celebrities. In particular, the one that got the crowd the most riled up was when he made a very controversial shot. He took a shot at none other than Carla Sofia Gascon. Now, for those of you who don't know who she is, she starred in the film Emilia Perez, which, again, had its own share of controversy because a lot of people, particularly in the, Southern American, Hispanic, heritage, said that it was culturally appropriative. So it's definitely had its fair share of controversy, but then again, Miss Gascon also has her fair share of controversy, including tweets where she calls Selena Gomez, I think, like a high-pitched rat or like something crazy. So Carla Sofia Gascon has these controversial tweets, right? And Conan O'Brien decides to take a jab at her and goes, he makes a joke, something to the effect of like how many times she says the F word in her tweets. And her publicist, who's trying to always be, she's always 100% on trying to do public relations. She's always trying to do the PR because Carla Sofia Gascon cannot keep her mouth shut on Twitter. And it's just absolutely hilarious how he delivers it. And then he tells her, look, Miss Garcon, if you're going to tweet tonight about the Oscars, just know that my name is Jimmy Kimmel.
Nora uses the F word 479 times. That's 3 more than the record set by Carla Sofia Gascon's publicist. You tweeted what? Carla Sofia Gascon is here tonight. And, yeah. And Carla, if you are going to tweet about the Oscars, remember, my name is Jimmy Kimmel.
And it was absolutely hilarious. And then she goes off and tweets the next day, you know, the older Conan O'Brien gets, the more and more he looks like the handsome Jimmy Kimmel and yada, yada, yada. So she had a blast. She didn't take it offensively. And anyone who knows Conan knows that he could literally look you in the eyes and say the most hands down, vile, disgusting, offensive thing ever and still not offend you because you know where his heart is at. So then the monologue continues, you know, he's building some good rapport, making some jokes. You know, he cracks a joke at Timothée Chalamet, talking about his bright, beautiful, yellow, custom designer 3-piece suit. And he says, oh, you're not going to get hit on your way home on your bicycle or whatever, making it seem like he's a traffic cone or whatever it is. He makes a joke about John Lithgow looking disappointed for people who make long acceptance speeches. He even points out Adam Sandler, who, in typical Adam Sandler fashion, shows up in a bright blue zipper hoodie or jacket, which is 6 times bigger than him, swallowing him, and basketball shorts that hang to his ankles. Yeah. Now, we're going to cover my thoughts on that in just a moment, but anyway, let's continue. At the end of his opening monologue, in typical Conan O'Brien fashion, he literally breaks out into a musical number, a whole musical production, like literally something on Broadway titled I Won't Waste Time. And he literally spends about 2.5, 3 minutes literally singing a song, wasting time about how he's not going to waste time. And then makes jokes, again, like I said, about how he expects some actors, after they win their Oscar, to, make such a dramatically long acceptance speech. So speaking of that, the winner, the biggest and best award that you could win in the Oscars, undoubtedly, is in the Best Actor in a Lead Role category, which goes to none other than Adrien Brody for The Brutalist. Now, Mr. Brody takes it upon himself to break the Guinness World Record in longest Oscars acceptance speech in history, being just shy of 5.5 minutes long. And a lot of people took to the internet to say how, self-absorbed that is and how conceited it is. And because he even makes some subliminal jokes about how, the band starts playing as he's literally giving his speech and waves at them. Like how you snap at a waiter, like in a restaurant? He literally did that. Disgustingly. Even though I think he was just more, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. When you win something like that, you have literally more of a chance of getting hit by a semi-truck while getting struck by lightning while winning the lottery at the same time than you do winning in the Best Actor in a Leading Role category ever. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he was just excited and had a lot to say. But regardless, do you wave your hand at the band to stop playing? No. And then he also doubles down by even saying, I've been, this isn't my first rodeo, or I've been here before. So it kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths, and I'll go ahead and play the clip right now. So, Mr. Brody, what exactly did you say?
Please, I'm wrapping up. I will wrap up. Please turn the music off. I've done this before. Thank you. It's not my first rodeo, but I will be brief.
And then it doesn't stop there. Adrien Brody and Halle Berry, back in 2003, blew the internet up for when he won Best Actor in a Leading Role for The Pianist, I believe, back in 2003. And Halle Berry and him both do this weird impromptu kiss. They make this really long, I'm talking tongue touching, teeth grinding, lips locked kiss in front of everybody back in 2003. And guess what Miss Berry does when Adrien Brody wins for lead actor in 2025? She walks up to him in front of his wife, apologizes to her, grabs his face, and does the same passionate kiss again. Now, if I were Mr. Brody, personally, I would be bricked like a house from the 1950s. I mean, have you guys seen what Miss Berry looks like? I think she's literally the modern day Benjamin Button. I don't think she could literally look younger and more attractive and hotter and, I hate to say it, here if she tried. So, I don't blame her. I don't blame him. I wouldn't have turned it down. I probably would have left my wife. I'd have taken my ring off. I'm kidding. That was not a good joke. I probably shouldn't have said that. But at the end of the day, she is just beautiful. And she just had to do it as like an homage to 2003. I mean, over 20 years ago this happened, so she had to do it again for the publicity. But then again, Hollywood has, a different set of rules than us regular folk do. You get what I'm saying? Because if anyone was to do that on any night, like let's just say you're at like a party for your buddy, right? And a female walks up to him in front of his wife, says, "Sorry, girl, I gotta do it," grabs his head and forcibly, passionately kisses him, she would probably beat her ass, or like a brawl would break out. But in Hollywood, apparently that doesn't happen. So it is what it is, I guess. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to the Oscars is none other than the fashion. Particularly my man Coleman Domingo. Now, for those of you who don't know Coleman Domingo, I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't know him either. But I see him all the time. He is always in the press and he is always just stunting. Like, let me tell you, when Mr. Domingo is at the event, every other gentleman, and some of the ladies, frankly, should just leave. There's no point. There is no point. It is literally a wash. There is no point in trying to combat him when it comes to fashion. I mean, my man stays fly. I don't even know what he's been in. I don't know what he's famous for. And I honestly feel disgusting for that. Like, how can I love somebody from so far away and appreciate their fashion and not even know a single thing about them? So I'm sorry. And speaking of things that I didn't know about him, I saw, as I was scrolling on Twitter writing the script for today's episode, that there was a picture. And on the picture, it says something to the effect of Coleman Domingo and his husband stunned for the Oscars premiere. And I'm like, husband? Like, he's gay? And then I got to thinking to myself, well, no heterosexual man could look that fly and pull it off, at least. No openly heterosexual man could pull that off and just look that good. I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple pictures up right now of some of the stuff that he's worn to like the Met Gala, previous Oscars, Golden Globes, all that stuff, because it is just incredible. And he and his husband are a literal gay power couple if I have ever seen one. I mean, they are both so handsome, so attractive, so ethereal, so symmetrical, so well dressed. I couldn't believe it. And if we take a look at my monitor here, I want to look at some of the comments because someone put, I'll go ahead and put it up on screen now. It's a picture of Beyonce for when she won for Best Country Album, for the record. That was crazy. I'm sorry we didn't cover the Grammys, but anyhow, I digress. It's Beyonce where she's like that. And somebody comments, he's gay, in all question marks. And then other people go, no straight man could pull off his style. You saw the way he dressed and thought he was straight. No straight man could accessorize like that. All those fire outfits didn't give it away. A straight man could never. Oh, baby. Stuff like that. And then I guess the story of how they met is super crazy too. It was something like like Coleman Domingo was just walking into a Walgreens or like some kind of drugstore or something like that. I probably should have researched this more, but you guys know that I don't do that. We're lucky if I get a video up every 2 weeks, okay? But like he literally walks like into a store or something like that. I would love to have him and his beautiful husband on the show because I'm a nobody right now, but guys, my delusions tell me that in due time, we're manifesting here, that I'm going to make it to nighttime television or something like that, or something where I have my own interview style, thing where we're able to interview these celebrities, because I would love to really get the story of it, because Coleman Domingo is not shy in telling the story, but it's something like he just walks in and they exchange a few words and then boom, they're like, the rest is history. Now, moving on from the fashionable gay icons of the Oscars, Adam Sandler. I kind of want to make a separate video on Adam Sandler because there is no denying his impact and his success and all that stuff. But I would argue that sometimes there is a time and place to dress appropriately. And a lot of people will come to his defense and say, a lot of people will come to his defense and say, well, that's just his humility. He's one of us. He's going to go to the Oscars looking like trash. Like us when we go to the liquor store at 2 a.m., in a robe and a hoodie and some basketball shorts and some sweats and all that stuff. But to me, no. I don't know what it is. I literally dress better for my show that I literally shoot in my mother's garage. Okay? Literally. I dress better than Adam Sandler does. And that's not out of cockiness. That's not out of arrogance. I was taught, as a young man, especially trying to get into the acting space and everything, that looks do matter. First impressions do matter. And it's not that this is fake. This is my style. This is what I want to do. I like business casual and stuff like that. And I can dress down, and there is an essence of humility in that. But I just feel like it's a little much. How are you going to show up to the one night where everyone gets to recognize you? And he's still doing films. The guy is worth $400 million. I mean, he has nothing more to prove to anybody. So me, in my opinion, just saying hey, it might be appropriate to dress up a little nicer, it's water off a duck's back. He will probably never, ever, ever see this footage in a billion years, unless I make it to late night TV. And if he does, I'm going to press him on it. I'm going to be like, Mr. Sandler, now that I have you on the show, okay, finally, when I was sitting in my mother's garage talking about you, why do you do it? You get what I'm saying? Why? Is it the humility? Is it laziness? Maybe you just aren't that confident in, business casual clothing, because a lot of people aren't. A lot of people just want to be comfortable, And like I said, I'm not knocking it. The guy is worth $400 million. Even if he wasn't worth $400 million, you could do what you want to do. I am somebody that is a free will absolutist, okay? If you want to do whatever it is you want to do, I'm not here to judge you for it. I'm only going to judge you when you start judging other people. That's my rule. And as far as I know, Adam Sandler don't be judging nobody. Because frankly, he probably can't. What's he going to do? Walk up to Coleman Domingo and say you look like shit? I highly doubt it. But at the end of the day, guys, that was my thing. I forgot to say here's my thing, I think. Here's my thing. All that stuff from the past 15, 20 minutes, however long we've been filming. And this has been Here's My Thing, starring Frankie Salazar. And I will see you in the next one.